There's a ton of developments around the fourth stimulus check because new refund checks are on the way for millions of Americans. The state governors are finally stepping up for the residents and passing new stimulus packages. State officials have confirmed that there are billions of dollars left over in crisis relief funds from the President Biden's American Rescue Plan Act. And now millions of American California taxpayers start receiving what's being called a middle-class tax refund this week. The legislation includes payments worth up to $1,000 for families. And other states are issuing one-time payments to help residents, everybody, to get through this bumpy economic time. And this includes Colorado, Virginia, New York, and Florida, and also many more states. Colorado taxpayers, for instance, will soon receive at least $750 from the mail in the Bill of Rights refund from the governor. About 3 million residents who filed their state taxes by June 30th are expected to get a $750 check. And according to the governor, if people in Colorado filed after June 30th by the extended deadline, they will get their check in January. And now the refund expedites the 2023 refund originally and is scheduled for the spring of 2023. It pays back up to 85% of excess state revenue collected last year. And while the governor and Democratic leaders said the expedited refund will help many families, it's not enough for many people that are in need of help. Now, while the governor and Democratic leaders said the expedited refund will help people in Colorado, many people, like full-time residents and Colorado residents who were eligible for the last year's payment, can also file a tax return to claim the rebate, even if they did not have a taxable income. Many Delaware residents are actually expecting a $300 rebate check, and the check will come in the mail, and some Delaware residents have already received it. Lawmakers have actually created a program to help residents deal with the skyrocketing gas prices and the burden of inflation. So this one-time payment is likely for the first time the state government has actually created a rebate program. The state has also created an online tool that allows residents to check the status of the rebate. And in August, the governor of Georgia announced $1 billion of crisis relief funds. It will be distributed to the 3 million Georgia residents who are most in need of financial assistance. Excess funds from the 2021 American Rescue Plan were actually planned to be distributed via $350 relief checks to Georgians who are receiving assistance from Medicaid, food stamps, cash welfare assistance, and many other things. According to officials, more than 800,000 locals have already spent their relief checks. However, many residents that qualify are still waiting to cash in. The funds were actually made available on September 20th, and people are still receiving payments today. And back in March, the governor also signed a bill authorizing rebates to taxpayers who filed returns for last year and the year before. So everybody, stimulus checks are going out, and that's good.
All right, we're going to kick things off here. I want to welcome everybody to Wise County. And really just want to, before I bring up Delegate Kilgore, just want to say a few thank yous. First to our landowners. Where you stand today is representative of the dozens of reclaimed mine sites throughout Southwest Virginia, and you can see the beauty around us. And this site is near having its permit released. And we have some incredible sites in Wise County all around Southwest Virginia. But you know, it's really important to know about the Virginia Department of Energy. You know, all the energy projects we work on, and in fact, Will Payne was Best Southwest Virginia, the Energy Delta Lab. We could not do our work without the folks at Virginia Department of Energy. Randy Moore, Brent Hughes, Will Clear, Daniel Kessner, all the inspectors that are here. But the expertise that Virginia Energy has and lends to our work is invaluable. And again, we wouldn't be talking about announcements like today without the expertise we have at that agency. And so with that, I want to bring up our senior member of the delegation, Southwest Virginia, someone who's worked really closely with the entire delegation here and makes sure that Southwest Virginia's voice is heard loud and clear all around Virginia, but especially in Richmond. Delegate Kilgore.
Thank you all. It's great to be out this morning, and want to thank the governor for coming down for this occasion. But here's a fact: Southwest Virginia has been and always will be about energy. And we're on the cusp of changing the game and clearing the way to be in the position of dominance in energy innovation. It's important to note that it's not been an overnight effort. We've made a lot of bills and legislation and passed a lot of legislation to get here today. And in 2019, we established the Southwest Virginia Energy Research and Development Authority. And our mission then was to bring innovative research, workforce development, and economic development under one umbrella. And last week, Governor Youngkin announced the result of his year-long third-party analysis for energy. So the Energy Delta Lab is now launched as a multi-site energy test bed right here in Southwest Virginia, and we're going to be focusing on leveraging previously mined properties as a proving ground for commercialization and deployment of innovative energy technologies. So every state in America right now is vying to be a leader in energy transition and innovation, and Virginia is going to be that leader. As we as the governor announces today, we're going to be that leader that other states are going to be looking at too. For so often, Southwest Virginia has been the energy hub of the East Coast, and we're going to continue to be that energy hub. Governor Youngkin believes in Southwest Virginia, and we believe in Governor Youngkin. We're partners in this historic moment in time. It's an opportunity today that we can simply not afford to pass up. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's my pleasure to introduce the 74th governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
We have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, and SSI and SSDI. Now, if you guys want to know the latest news about the fourth stimulus check, then continue watching this video. Biden is taking huge action this week to fight inflation, and the Biden administration has confirmed that addressing inflation and helping low-income households financially are their top priorities. Several new relief programs are being established this month. Confronted with a sharp decline in approval ratings and the relentless increase in consumer prices, President Biden is finally shifting to full inflation fighting mode with a month-long campaign intent to contain public outrage over the rising cost of everyday goods. The White House is taking steps to calm voters and their worries about surging inflation. They are signaling that Biden understands what U.S. households are enduring and that officials are maximizing efforts to bring prices under control. This comes ahead of the midterm elections. Just last week, Biden held a rare Oval Office meeting with Jerome Powell. Central bank officials hiked interest rates again on May 4th, lifting them by 50 basis points for the first time in 2 decades. Jerome Powell has said inflation is much too high, and the Fed has also announced plans to begin running down its massive $9 trillion balance sheet. The inflation report in April showed that prices cooled off a bit, or remained near a 40-year high. Core prices, which exclude gas and food, also accelerated more than expected, underscoring how strong inflationary pressures in the economy still are. With Biden's approval rating sinking to its lowest level yet, the White House had no choice but to confront growing voter anger over rising prices. To tackle this, Biden put inflation as top domestic priority. And to stop 40-year highs in price increases, the economy will have to slow. The ability of producers to get their goods to the marketplace will have to get a lot better, and demand and supply will have to come back into the balance. Americans applied for jobless aid last week, but the total number of Americans collecting unemployment remains a 5-decade low. Applications for unemployment benefits rose by 27,000 to 230,000 for the week ending June 4th, the most since mid-February. American workers are enjoying historically strong job growth and security 2 years after the crisis plunged. Now, in the state of Oregon, people who receive SNAP benefits will be receiving emergency allotments in June. The Fed has approved emergency allotments every month since March 2020, and this gives SNAP recipients additional support during the crisis. These emergency benefits are a temporary support that Oregon people can provide because of the federal emergency. Because the federal government approved the emergency benefits for June, Oregon will also be able to issue them in July. But the emergency benefits are expected to end when the federal public health emergency ends. Folks, if you found this video useful and helpful, don't forget to subscribe and comment below.
Good morning, everyone. Before I begin my opening remarks and yield to Pete, I just wanted to express our heartfelt prayers and condolences to our colleague Sean Caston and to the entire Caston family on the tragic loss of his 17-year-old daughter. Unspeakable tragedy, and we're asking everyone to respect the privacy that the family, of course, has requested, but we want to make it entirely clear that his House Democratic Caucus family stands with the Caston family during this hour of greatest need, and we ask that God continue to watch over Sean and the Caston family. Now, we had a very robust discussion earlier today. House Democrats have been focused like a laser beam on making sure that we can continue to create good paying jobs. 8.7 million jobs have been created during the Biden presidency. Keep unemployment low. It remains at 3.6%. Wages have begun to increase. That is very positive, and we need to keep that going. We also, of course, have to lower costs for everyday Americans and create an economy that works for the people. And so consistent with that effort, this week, led by Representative Abigail Spanberger, the Lower Food and Fuel Costs Act will be on the House floor explicitly to try to lower costs in two critical areas that the American people are feeling in their pocketbook. Of course, gas prices as well as food prices. We're hopeful that the effort will secure bipartisan support on the floor.